And we're back. Now we're going to talk about the main driving force behind why we're working on the current game project we're working on right now. Not really why we work on games in general, but what was it specifically that kind of fostered the development of the current project we're working on. You know, it can't really be a for-profit if it's just, you know, I want to make this thing for money. We want to get a little deeper than that, but, you know, Kate's going to start us off, so go ahead, Kate.
All right, so I don't have I can't talk about much right now because I'm just starting a new project. But the reason that I'm working on a new project is because, well, first of all, I haven't been working on games in a while, so I sort of have that itch to work on something. But also because, for me, I find that music inspires me to make my games. And at work, I've been listening to a lot of music and a lot of different types. And so I just have all these ideas, and I kind of want to amalgamate them into some like simple project that I can put out there. And yeah, make money and happily ever after.
So really it's just because of listening to music you feel like you want to make something music-based, or?
No. I mean, I think everything I do is music-based. Like, I think sound is one of the most important aspects in a video game. It's often overlooked, you know, in terms of graphics and input and responsiveness. But I think sound is what really coalesces the entire project.
See, I'm the guy that thinks sound is completely irrelevant.
Dude, I'm going to kill you, Mike. It's totally not. And I think music as a basis for wanting to write games is actually very viable, because I know there are plenty of times where I'll be sitting around listening to like a chiptune or even any other type of random song, and video games will come to my mind almost every time. Not specific games, but thinking of like a scene in the game where it would fit, or interactions between characters in the game, or some kind of sequence that you do. I don't know, man. I hear you, Kate.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's 2-1 versus Mike. Mike, you're going down.
Wow, you guys are all biased against me anyway for some reason, because
Yeah.
I don't play Super Smash Brothers.
Well, you should get Super Smash Brothers. It's got some good music.
It does.
It actually really does, yeah. Anyway.
I can't stand that theme.
Na 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 na. Na 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 na. All right, Kevin, what have you got for, you know, the driving force behind your current project?
Well, I'm working on an engine, basically, but the real project I'm working on is Diversion, which is a game that's basically just a demo, really, of what the engine's about. Damn, it's hard to summarize everything in short words. I don't know. I want to have the engine be able to handle a variety of tasks, so I can make just about any kind of game with it. So the Diversion is basically just a collection of all that stuff I want to be able to do, and it's just a way to test all that stuff out, so that, you know, after the engine's ready to make real stuff with, then I can, damn, this sounds terrible, doesn't it?
So really what we're getting at is, like, what was the, you know, one day you weren't working on this project, and the next day you were working on it. So what happened on the day, that time before it flipped, where you're like, I want to make this? What made you decide that you wanted to do it? Or, you know, was it just like you woke up and you opened up your editor and you were like, oh, it sounds like fun, I'll just do this? Or, you know?
The engine or the game?
Both. Well, the game
right.
kind of is, you're creating the engine for the game, so I guess think of them as a unit, I suppose.
All right, well, the engine is kind of like just something I've dreamt up for years and years and years, since forever, and it's only been now that I've been good enough at programming and doing the 3D modeling and all that stuff that I've been able to actually do this thing. So it's kind of like my dream engine that I'll be able to use for whatever I come up with in the future.
So why is it your dream engine? That's the answer we want to get. Because
I don't know. It's like a collection of all the ideas that I've ever wanted in an engine, basically. I mean, a lot of the stuff is nothing new, but there are some things that I'm doing with this that haven't really been done before. Or, you know, some stuff, you know, other developers have touched on ideas, but there's some original stuff going on in here. And I think, like we were talking before about how characters get hit, you know, in a game and they don't react properly. Well, this engine's going to be able to allow for a lot more feedback in that kind of way, stuff like that I think a lot of gamers will appreciate.
All right. If the reason is because it's your dream game, then or your dream engine. I mean, I guess that works how it is. Mike.
It's not very interesting.
That works out as me?
What? No, it doesn't work out as you. Mike, you're next. I want you to talk about the fucking monkey game, because that's what you're working on.
Right. Oh, well, what I'm working on right now is the Dark Slide game.
Okay. So wait, what is your motivation for Dark Slide was competition,
right.
You know?
So then it turned into something cool, and so now I can finish it.
I know, but that doesn't really count, because that's kind of the same thing where it's like,
you hate Dark Slide, you don't want to talk about it.
No, I do want to talk about Dark Slide. It's a good game, but it's a cop-out answer, because that's kind of the same answer where, I'm a game developer, and I make games for money, so the reason that I'm making my current game is because it's my job. Wow, that's real fucking interesting. We want to get into,
It's not my job.
I know it's not your job, but it's the same thing. It's I had to. So then the answer to the question can't be because it was for a competition. Why did you do Dark Slide? What made you want to do that game idea? What was going on in your head?
I just stumbled upon it.
How did you stumble upon it?
Didn't know what to do about them, and then I said, "Hey, look, those dots are yellow. What if I made it get a little darker, and the dots made it a little brighter, and you had to avoid the scrolling?" And
So where did the dots come from? Like, why did you have dots in the first place?
Oh, let's see. I think it was going to be like a non-scrolling game where it was going to have multiplayer, all 80 by 24 console, of course. And you were going to run around and compete for the dots, but you could bump each other around, kind of like Joust, maybe.
Uh-huh.
And then whoever got the majority of the dots first would win. I think it was going to be something along those lines, but then I was working with the sockets, and I couldn't get it to work. And so I thought, well, gosh darn it, I can't get this to work. I got to do something else with it. And so I thought, well, I'll make the dots make it brighter. And so that's what I did.
All right, see, well, that's more interesting than, yes, it was the challenge game. There you go. Like, that's some insight into why you did it.
Wasn't what I was going to say, but that's what you assumed I was going to say.
Yes, and you
underestimate me.
I really want to.
You think I'm here? You think I'm here just to cause trouble? You think I'm here just to be a rabble rouser?
No,
but I'm not.
Listen,
I'm here to contribute.
I want to hear why your motivation behind the monkey game.
Motivation behind the monkey game.
Not the motivation behind it, but what made you choose, I'm going to make the monkey game, the ASCII game? Why? Like, what is the main force that caused that game to come into existence?
Oh, that one I can't quite be so specific about. I didn't have the singular impetus like I had with the competition.
No, I know.
But I like to make platformers. I like to make platformers. That's a start, right?
All right.
If I didn't like to make platformers, I wouldn't be able to make I wouldn't be making a platformer. Most likely.
So what was it in your mind that when you went and opened up the IDE and you started developing a platformer and you decided, I want to do an ASCII game, why did you decide it? Like, what was the driving force behind doing it? Just it came out of nowhere, or?
Oh, I wouldn't say it came out of anywhere in particular. I just, like I said on a previous episode, on one hand, it is an attempt to account for the fact that I know that my artistic creationary skills aren't at the top of the totem pole, so to speak. But at the same time, I do completely aim to make a game that looks cool. I'm not saying, well, I'm making an ASCII game because I can't make graphics and my game's going to have bad graphics. I'm not conceding that, but at the same time, I feel like it puts me in a better position. It suits up better with my abilities. Do you know what I mean?
I hear you. So,
because I'm trying to aim for a level that I can hit. Like, I can't dunk a ball, so if I'm trying to make a game with typical graphics, I'm sure I can. And if I make programmer art, as long as it's a fun game, I don't really mind. But nonetheless, I'm going to be trying to dunk that ball, and I'm white man can't jump, so I'm just not going to be able to do it. But what I'm trying to do is just lower the basket down to 8 feet where I can dunk it.
8 feet.
You know what I mean?
All right, I hear it. No,
I might be able to get up 9. And it's still fun. It's still the basketball game, it's still fun. It's just that I'm look like a dork doing it.
All right, I guess that's a good reason to be working on the game.
But I do think it's novel and it's a unique approach. And obviously, at some point, obviously the idea came to me. Wouldn't it be kind of cool to make an ASCII game? And at first, I was just doing it like a typical tile engine, except instead of graphical tiles. I just had pound signs and this and that and cutters. Yeah. And so that was where it started to fester. And I thought, well,
So,
and then I realized how slowly it ran. So then I started changing it. But, then I optimized it. So, at some point
Of course stuff progresses like that. But what was it? What was it like that snapped in you and that said, ASCII would be sweet? Is that what you said? Like, ASCII would be sweet? Let's make an ASCII game.
Well, the word sweet isn't high in my vocabulary.
Juicy?
But, yeah. No, not even juicy.
Awesome? Wicked?
Awesome. Wicked, not so much. Awesome. Awesome is
So you just thought awesome. You just thought ASCII was awesome.
When I started to put it on the screen, when I started to put it on the screen and I could see it, I thought, this could make for a pretty cool game.
All right. See, it's interesting because, as we're talking about this, we see that a lot of our game ideas kind of morph and meld as we're working on them. That's the kind of the gist I get from other people that I talk about who do game development as well. Is, they open up a idea, they're like, I'm interested in doing a platformer game. So, they build the engine, and as they're playing with it, they discover the type of game that they want to make. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? As opposed to, yes, I'm going to make a platformer, and it has to deal with these topics, using these characters, and whatever. A lot of the time, you see stuff just kind of grow. That is my experience, at least. Even from just talking to you guys.